Hey guys, so I decided to make a series of videos showing you step by step, from start to finish, how to learn and play the blues. Essentially I'm going to cover the chord progression, obviously, the left hand, how to keep the rhythm and the bass going, the right hand, how to improvise, and no, I'm not just going to show you the blues scale, I'm going to show you a whole bunch of scales that you can use over the blues and how they fit in, why they work, and how to think about improvising so you don't get stuck in the mindset of, oh, I just need to use this scale, and so you run up and down the scale and your solo sounds a bit boring. I'm going to give you some improvising practice tips, how to learn how to improvise and how to practice improvisation, and some techniques about how to make your improvisation sound a bit more interesting so it doesn't just sound like an exercise going up and down a scale. I'm going to tell you how to make your solo sound like a blues solo. Obviously every genre has its own ornamentals or techniques or runs or style of soloing. So essentially I'm going to show you how to make your solo sound bluesy. And then I might show you some alternate chord progressions for the blues. So rather than this 12-bar blues, even though that's the most common and most widely used, there are some other like 8-bar blues chord progressions and things of that nature. So in this lesson, I'm just going to take you through the really basic 12-bar blues chord progression. And as always, check the description. Everything I'm going to explain here will be written down in the description so you can follow along, and feel free to leave any comments or any posts or any questions. So first thing is the 12-bar blues chord progression. So we'll start on the C, but again it's transposable to any key. So it's C7. So that's the C, E, G, and B flat. That's the first chord. So again, all the chords in the blues are dominant 7 chords. And that's a little bit interesting because it means it never really resolves to a tonic. And it always has a little bit of sort of dissonance, like it can keep going. It's never quite complete. So if you went through all my previous music theory tutorials, you'll know that the dominant chord is the 5th of a major scale, essentially. So in this case, the F major. So in the key of F, you would find the chord C7. That's just a little bit of a sort of extra information, and that'll be useful when we actually come to soloing, because we're going to be doing a lot of stuff around that. So essentially the chord progression goes like this. 4 bars of C7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then to F7 for 2 bars. Back to C7 for 2 bars. Then G7 for 1 bar, F7, and back to C7 for 2 bars. That's really it. So again, I can show you in a different key, starting on F. F for 4 bars, then B flat for 2 bars, back to F for 2 bars, C for 1 bar, B flat for 1 bar, and back to F7 for 2 bars. And overall that's obviously 12 bars, so that's the name 12-bar blues. And all of those chords are dominant 7s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then it repeats. On top of the standard 12-bar blues, you can put a couple changes to make it seem a little bit more interesting. So for the last 2 bars, when I told you to play C or the tonic, the root note, for 2 bars, instead you can play the tonic or the root note for 1 bar, and then back to the G7 for 1 bar. And then when you start all over again from bar 1 of the next round of the 12-bar blues, you go back to the C. You can also play, instead of playing 4 bars of C at the very beginning, on the 2nd bar you can play an F, and then for the 3rd bar go back to the C. So putting those 2 in, it can look something like this. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then repeat. So that already makes it a little bit more interesting than just having the same the same chord running for 4 bars, or 6 bars really if you keep repeating, because 2 at the end, 4 at the beginning. Cool, I hope that made sense. Next lesson we're going to be covering the left hand, how to just maybe the basic one first, really bluesy, and then maybe some boogie woogie stuff like that. Cool, hope to see you then.